Hi there, welcome back to my channel. So today I had my first hyperbaric oxygen therapy treatment. Now I've wanted to experience it for ages now. When I finally took the plunge, I saw an offer, it was called the Float Hub, and I jumped in and booked, and then I ended up getting super messed around because they didn't actually get the machine when they thought they were going to get it. And I think it's been about 3 months since I actually booked the appointment and when I actually managed to go and get it. I will say that they did actually give me a free session, so I should be able to get 2 for all the messing around. It was an absolute nightmare trying to book the session, but you might not have as much difficulty. I think basically they put out an intro offer thinking they were going to get the machine, and then they didn't get it in time. So why did I have it? I mean, I have had chronic illness. I did have lupus. I don't really test for it anymore, and I don't really have the symptoms of it, but I'm always constantly working on things to make myself healthier. And I also just had it for general anti-aging. Now, the thing with hyperbaric, I'm going to read a little bit because there's no way I could have remembered all of this, but it involves breathing 100% oxygen in a pressurized chamber. So as you're going to see when I show you I'm going to show you exactly what the experience was like. I did film it for you, and it's not exactly how I expected it to be. I thought it was going to be a very fixed chamber, a little bit like a steam room, to be honest with you, like a small steam room where you sort of sat in. But it wasn't like that at all. It was more like a tent that I had to crawl into. And then I also had an additional wire, like a breathing apparatus that I put up my nose. And I had to basically put it over a valve. And she said if I use that, I get 100% oxygen, otherwise it's 70. And it kept falling off the valve. I don't know how I felt about the machine that I used, to be honest, but I am a bit claustrophobic. So the one thing I will say is that it wasn't as bad as the little small chambers that I've seen. At least I could sit up in my chamber. So there was that. So hyperbaric oxygen therapy can be used for anti-aging, stimulating collagen production, clearing dead cells, and it can also apparently lengthen telomeres. The only thing is, to use it for anti-aging, from what I've read, you have to do it really regularly, and us average people probably can't afford to do it as regularly as you would need to, unless you had some serious illness and you could prioritize doing it. But I think they say you're supposed to do it 5 days a week for the first, I think it's 1 to 2 months, and then you can reduce it to a few times a month. So for anybody to put that amount of hours into the hyperbaric oxygen chamber, it would really eat a lot of financial resources. I don't know how much they would cost to get at home, but I feel the machine that I use would be a very home friendly one for someone that was really into it. You know, maybe in the future it would be something that I would consider. There have actually been some landmark clinical trials with the hyperbaric oxygen therapy that were conducted in Israel that did demonstrate that Hbot can significantly increase the length of telomeres, which has been linked to one of the key aspects of anti-aging. But like I said, unfortunately, you just need to do it so much that your average person just doesn't have access to that many Hbot sessions. I think that I paid £60, but that was on offer because they hadn't released it yet. And I think it's 85 now if you're a solo diver. That's a lot of money. That's, £400 a week that you're looking at just on hyperbaric oxygen therapy. Most people can't really justify that unless they are a celebrity or super wealthy, or they've got some really serious disease, in which case you would obviously prioritize it. But it's something that I would consider doing in the future. But I just thought I'd have a go, and I'd just go along and try it because I've always wanted to try it and see how I felt. Now, when I first came out, I was very tired. I felt about 3/4 of the way through, I just got so sleepy, which I think is probably natural because it's triggering the body to repair itself. So I guess you would get tired if the body is repairing itself, because that's why we sleep and we rest, so that the body can repair. I also had a lot of ear popping activity as they were letting the air into the chamber, and then when it was decompressing at the end, they also started popping again. The nose line just kept dropping out because it was basically over a valve and it just kept falling off the valve, and I didn't always notice straight away. I would definitely be more on that next time because I know kind of now what it feels like when it drops off, but I couldn't always tell. It was quite nice because I could actually take I wasn't expecting it, but I could take my phone into the chamber with me, and I actually did a nice little guided meditation when I was in there, and then I did a little bit of scrolling as well. But certainly if you had one at home or you had the money, it's no great loss out of your life. You could go in there and do a bit of admin, a bit of social media admin. But anyway, I'm just going to show you what it's like, because it's not quite what I expected it to be like, actually. So I'm going to show you my experience, and this was at the Float Hub in Shoreditch, just for reference as to where I am, and enjoy. It's quite a basic waiting room, and here is the machine. I actually filmed myself crawling in and out so you can see what the process is like to get in and out of the machine. So I basically had to zip myself in here. So I'm inside the hyperbaric oxygen chamber, and I honestly thought it was going to be really bad because I thought it was going to be a little tiny capsule, and I'm quite claustrophobic, but I'm pleasantly surprised. So it's kind of like a tent almost, and I only really get claustrophobic when I can't sit up, and there's actually quite a bit of room in here. So basically you can lie here, and I also didn't realise you could bring your phone in with you, so that's a big plus, because you can might listen to a meditation in a minute. So I also have this. Apparently I get 70% without and 100 if I put this in. Never used one of these before. Oh my gosh, I can feel popping in. Oh, I can feel it popping in my ears. Is that how they work? I reckon it goes. Hold on. Okay, that's better. I actually feel quite a weird sensation. My ears have gone strange. But other than that, it's pretty relaxing. I could actually have a little sleep in here, I think, or a bit of a meditation. So this is the entirety of the chamber. And I'll see you in a bit. So it's actually pretty comfortable in here. I'm not feeling any major discomfort. I can lie here and do a nice meditation and relax. But my ears definitely keep popping. And it's also very, very hot in here. So it's a very hot day. It's like 85 degrees or something. And it just feels very humid. I don't think it's the machine, but it's certainly not doing anything to cool me down. It feels very, very humid and hot in here, more so than outside. And yeah, my ears just keep popping. But other than that, everything's going well, and it's a pretty easy experience. So the only slight problem with this chamber is that I keep knocking this nose bit off without realising. So for the nose air to work, it comes through this valve here, and every time I turn around and lie down, this bit drops off, and I don't realise straight away. So that's a slight floor with this machine, I feel. After the treatment, they have a little relaxation room where you can make yourself a herbal tea and unwind a little bit before facing the very heavy traffic in Shoreditch. Cheers. So I've just come out of the hyperbaric oxygen treatment and mostly I just feel super tired. I sat in the relaxation room for a minute and had a tea, but I feel very sleepy. I started to feel that way about halfway through the treatment and I just feel like I could go to bed. I certainly don't feel super energized, but I think that the idea of it is that it forces your body to heal, so I think that would be quite natural, that I would feel like I wanted to sleep for the body to repair. The woes of being in central London.